After months of the NCAA breaking their own rules regarding investigation confidentiality, Michigan has finally received the notice of allegations. Not a draft that was suspiciously leaked to ESPN in a way that only a dying organization gasping for one last breath of relevance would do. This is the for real one. Welcome to the Point a Minute Show on Michigan football at the voice of college football, where we average one outstanding point for every minute of video. My name is Cliff. His name is Mac. Let's get into it. The NCAA has sent an official notice of allegations to Michigan relating to the sign-stealing saga. No less than 7 Michigan staffers from the 2023 team are accused of violations, including former head coach Jim Harbaugh and current head coach Sharon Moore. The draft that was obtained in early August said that Moore could receive both a suspension and a show cause penalty. It is alleged that Moore deleted 52 texts with Connor Stalions the same day that Stalions was reported to have been the ringleader of the advanced scouting operation. I will note those texts were recovered by Sharon Moore and given to the NCAA, and nothing more was heard about it. That's according to Isaiah Hole. So, Mac, is a show cause penalty something Sharon Moore should even be worried about? What are we talking about here?
No, definitely not. I don't think he should be worried about it. I mean, not that it won't happen, because at this point, I think the NCAA is just going to do whatever they want or whatever they can, really, to punish Michigan in some way. But because, where is Sharon Moore going to go after Michigan? So Michigan, as much as other fans would hate to admit it, specifically fans of the Buck Nutty and Little Brother variety, Michigan is the pinnacle of college football positions, or is a part of the pinnacle of college football jobs. I mean, it's right up there with the Alabamas, the Ohio States, the USCs, Notre Dame's prior to Brian Kelly. It's not a job that you leave to get a better college football job. It's a job that you leave for the NFL, or you get fired in Rich Rod's case. And the NFL isn't going to care about a show cause punishment levied by the NCAA. Also, the NCAA went through Sharon Moore's texts already and only gave him a level 2 violation for it. That says to me that they couldn't find anything and they were upset about it. So they said, oh, well, you deleted them, so obviously that means you were trying to impede the investigation. Except he gave them to the NCAA anyway. But apparently that doesn't matter. NCAA level 2 violation for everybody. I don't know. I've said it before, I'll say it again. The NCAA has dying star syndrome. They know with every conference realignment move, with every new NIL deal, with every new TV deal, they are becoming less and less relevant, and they are doing everything they can to stay in power.
Now, just to add to what you were saying about the texts, from what I heard, and I think this is from Isaiah Hole, is that the level 2 violation doesn't come from the texts because they couldn't find anything in the texts. It comes from the fact that Sharon Moore said he didn't have any, and then he did have them, and so they're calling that a level 2.
I don't think he even said that he didn't have any. He deleted them at one point, and that was enough. That's a level 2 violation right there.
Okay, even though the text didn't actually have anything relevant to the case.
And he gave them over anyway.
All right.
Yeah.
What do we know about the others who are being accused, and what are they being accused of?
So, as far as I understand it, everyone who is being accused in the advanced scouting case, because there's a couple of different cases still going on here. So everyone who is being accused in the advanced scouting case is just being accused of knowing and not stopping it or reporting it, as far as I know. In terms of the who, so it's Jim Harbaugh and Sharon Moore, like we've talked about, but also Denard Robinson and the linebackers coach, Chris Partridge. Linebackers, right? I think linebackers. They're also being named in the notice of allegation as it relates to the advanced scouting case. Former defensive coordinator Jesse Minter and former defensive backs coach Steve Clinkscale are actually also being accused of violations, but of recruiting violations unrelated to the advanced scouting case, completely unrelated. So I think that one particularly has something to do with what happened during COVID, although I thought we were done with that since Harbaugh was already punished for that a week or two ago, plus the first 3 games of last season. So apparently not. I don't know. I'll also mention that the NOA, according to the Detroit Free Press, says that there is no evidence that Harbaugh knew about the advanced scouting case. Now, I'm going to make a point here. For some reason, the Detroit Free Press calls it the sign stealing case. the sign stealing is not the crime that Michigan is being accused of. It's advanced scouting. So clearly the Detroit Free Press is fake news. What they're getting on Harbaugh.
That seems harsh. I don't know.
What they're getting Harbaugh on, though, is that he didn't cooperate because he didn't allow them to look through his personal messages and phone records. So we've mentioned this a lot on the show before that, the NCAA doesn't have subpoena power like Congress does. They can't just tell you to hand over personal messages. But they tried to do that with Harbaugh. He said no, and the NCAA is claiming that that's not cooperating, which, mind you, Harbaugh is being accused of that in both the advanced scouting case and Burgergate, which, according to the NCAA's incredibly subjective rules, makes him a repeat offender along with Sharon Moore because of the texting situation. So, I mean, this is insane, right? Like, the NCAA can't legally ask for personal phone access, but they can then punish you for not giving them personal phone access, which could land Harbaugh, Sharon Moore, and maybe Michigan in a buttload of trouble because of it. And I mean, I just think that's ridiculous.
Now, you mentioned the coaches knowing. Talk a little bit about what that means that they know, because we know that Connor Stalions was on the sidelines talking to the coaches. Is that the same thing as knowing they had signs from other teams?
No, it's not the same thing as knowing that they have signs from other teams. I mean, the coaches could know that, Connor Stalions has the signs. Well, how does Connor have the signs? I don't know. I just know that he's got the signs. Cool. Don't ask. I don't care how you're getting the signs. Just get the signs. If you get caught, though, we're going to fire you. Or if you're doing something illegal, rather, and you get caught, we're going to fire you. And I think that's kind of what happens. That's probably the case here. Steve Dace at one point was talking about this, like Michigan or schools in general really have this type of dynamic going where they say, do what you can to skirt the line as close as you can. And, maybe you go over it, maybe you don't. Just don't tell me about it. And if I don't know, then we're fine. I don't know if I completely buy into that. I think that if the coaches did know, then they didn't know the extent of it. They didn't know the illegal part of it. Maybe they thought they found some sort of loophole. I tend to think that maybe the coaches really didn't know, though.
But now, okay, well, I guess part of my question was, what was Connor doing there anyway? Why was he standing next to the OC and the DC during the game?
So, I mean, his job was sign stealing, right? So he would look across the field. He would examine what the other team was doing, the signs that they were giving to the players on the field, and then try and decipher what was being run. We talked about on Team Rivalry, I think last week, that was it the West Virginia coach said that they had a sign stealer, and his job was to look at the other people, at the people on the other sideline and what signs they were making. And he said that he saw them do a boot play or bootleg. I can't remember what it's called, but the sign for that was literally just somebody motioning to put on a boot
with their foot.
Yeah. I mean, they're not exactly sophisticated signs. Mm-hmm. So being good at that job. I mean, I remember one time you and I were watching a game, and Nick Sheridan, I think, was on the sideline giving the signs for the play call. This was 15 years ago. I can't remember when he was at Michigan, but he did this. And remember, I turned to you. I said, next play is going to be a pass. And it was. I'm a
flyover, right?
Flyover, yeah. So apparently I'm a super effective sign stealer. I didn't even know it. Yeah. But anyway, that's the job of the sign stealer.
All right. Are we hearing anything different about a potential punishment then with what came down?
So different? No. As far as I know, there's nothing in the NOA that really lists out definitively what the punishments are going to be, at least not that I've heard. But I was listening to Josh Pate on Sunday night on the Late Kick, and he mentioned something that I thought was kind of interesting. He said that he can't imagine that the networks, that the conference would let that happen, would let the hammer that everyone is talking about, let that come down on Michigan. I would agree, except that they did allow Harbaugh to get suspended for 6 games last season. Although in Josh Pate's defense, he was referring to the hammer, like I just said, and Jim Harbaugh was the only one to have gotten suspended. So that's not exactly a hammer per se. But, the head coach was suspended for arguably 3 of the most important games of the season. So, and that's not exactly a situation that everybody can come back from. But lucky for Michigan, they were in a position where it didn't matter. Harbaugh was gone. Sharon Moore takes the reins. It worked out perfectly. Really, I think what's probably going to happen is that the NCAA is going to levy punishments against the individuals, because it's the individuals that are named that have the level 1 violations being alleged right now, or accused. I don't know, whatever. But the school itself would probably just get a fine. And Josh Pate mentioned this too, that the school itself, it's not going to get a hammer. There's going to be no postseason ban. There's going to be no vacated wins or anything like that. It's probably that the school is going to suffer financially for it. But really, the program itself is not going to be touched in any meaningful way. It's just that these individuals are probably going to get show causes, because most of them aren't even at Michigan. A few of them are in the NFL, and a couple of them got fired. One of them definitively got fired. No, Partridge and Robinson both got fired. So show causes there probably doesn't matter either, because I can't imagine either of them are going to get a college job after this, especially Robinson.
Mm-hmm. And well, it'll be interesting to see what Michigan does with this, and then what the Connor Stallions documentary on Netflix will what light that'll shed on this whole thing.
We got Netflix, and I'm keeping an eye out for that one. I'm kind of excited and nervous all at the same time.
Well, that's what we think. What do you think? Leave a comment and let us know. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. If you want more great college football analysis, check out all of the shows on Michigan football at the Voice of College Football. You can also catch Mac and I live on the Big Ten Team Rivalry Show, Monday nights at 8 right here on YouTube. Mac, take us out.
This is Michigan football at the Voice of College Football.